Hey, you. Welcome to another deep dive with us.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be taking a close look at Singapore's landed property market.
Ooh, exciting.
We're going to be exploring what's fueling the surge and, more importantly, whether it's something that you should be paying attention to.
Yeah.
Get this.
Okay.
From what I'm seeing, 2024 is shaping up to be a record year for landed properties in Singapore.
It really is shaping up to be a very interesting year.
Hmm.
I think the numbers are telling a very compelling story.
Okay.
In the first 11 months of 2024, both the volume and value of transactions have already surpassed the totals for the entire year of 2023.
Really?
We're looking at a 14.3% increase in transaction volume and a 10.5% jump in value.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So it really seems like there's a lot of confidence in the market.
A lot of confidence.
But does this mean that prices are just skyrocketing?
Right.
What's the story there?
Well, while there's definitely been price appreciation, it's not as dramatic as you might think.
Yeah.
The Landed Property Price Index, which tracks the change in prices over time, shows slower growth in 2024 compared to the previous year.
Okay.
This actually suggests a more balanced market,
Okay.
which is typically a healthy sign.
So instead of a frantic scramble, it's more of a steady and confident climb.
Exactly. And if you look at the median unit prices,
Right.
you'll see that while semi-detached and terrace houses have seen consistent upward movement,
Okay.
that big jump in the overall median price is likely influenced by the high-value transactions happening in the Good Class Bungalow segment.
Okay.
Speaking of which, we'll get to those luxurious abodes later on.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got a booming market. We've got steady price growth.
Yeah.
And now I'm curious about location.
Okay.
Are certain areas hotter than others?
Sure.
What are the hot spots in this landed property frenzy?
Absolutely. Demand isn't uniform across the island.
Right.
District 19, which includes Serangoon Gardens and Hugang, is leading the pack with an estimated 309 transactions. Now, you might be thinking, what's so special about District 19?
Right.
Well, this district is a sweet spot for families who want that landed living experience without being too far from the city center.
Okay.
It offers a good mix of established landed enclaves, reputable schools, and convenient access to amenities.
Right.
It's all about that lifestyle balance.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the property itself, it's
Yeah.
about the whole lifestyle that comes with it.
Exactly.
What about other popular districts?
Well, districts 15 and 28 are also seeing significant activity, each with an estimated 202 transactions.
Okay.
District 15, nestled along the East Coast,
Yeah.
offers that sought-after coastal lifestyle, great schools, good connectivity.
So beaches.
Yeah, think of it as a blend of urban convenience and a touch of resort living.
Oh, very nice.
Then there's District 28, which encompasses areas like Seletar and parts of Yio Chu Kang.
Okay.
This district attracts buyers who prioritize tranquility and spacious homes in a more suburban setting. Yeah. So it's interesting how each district kind of caters to a different type of buyer. Absolutely. Some want that bustling city vibe, while others crave peace and quiet.
Yeah, and I see that even District 10, with its prime locations in Holland Road and Bukit Timah, is attracting a good number of buyers.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Right. District 10 holds a certain prestige, and even though it's more centrally located, it still offers pockets of landed properties that appeal to those seeking exclusivity and a high-end lifestyle. It's all about status and location, location, location.
Of course.
Right.
So we have a clearer picture of where the action is, but who's driving this demand? Is it mostly new buyers entering the market or something else going on?
One of the most fascinating trends we're observing is the surge in transactions from buyers who already own private homes.
Oh, really?
In fact, the number of transactions by buyers with a private home address has jumped by a significant 23.1% in the first 11 months of 2024 compared to the same period last year. Wow, that's a pretty big jump. So it's not just first-time landed property buyers, it's people who are already in the property game.
Exactly.
What's motivating them to make this move?
Well, there are a few factors at play here.
Okay.
Landed properties in Singapore are seen as highly desirable.
Okay.
They offer a sense of exclusivity, spacious layouts, and there's limited supply, which makes them particularly attractive to affluent buyers who are looking for a unique living experience. Think of it as a status symbol, but one with tangible benefits.
Right. It's not just about showing off. It's about getting a property that's truly special.
Exactly. And there's also a strong belief in the long-term value of landed homes.
Okay.
Singapore's property market is known for its competitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And landed properties are seen as a safe and stable investment.
So it sounds like these homeowners are thinking long term. They're not just buying a house. They're investing in a piece of Singapore's future.
Absolutely. And let's not forget that many of these homeowners have benefited from the capital appreciation of their existing non-landed properties.
Right.
So they're leveraging that equity to upgrade to their dream landed home.
Mm-hmm.
It's a smart financial move for those who can afford it.
Now let's talk about the creme de la creme of landed properties.
Okay.
Good Class Bungalows, or GCBs.
Yes.
What's happening in this ultra-luxury segment?
Well, GCBs have also witnessed a surge in activity this year with 21 caveated transactions in the first 11 months of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
That's up from 18 for the whole of 2023.
Wow, wait, what does caveated mean in this context?
Sure, a caveat essentially lodges a claim on the property title,
Okay.
signaling that a sale is pending
Mm-hmm.
and preventing any other transactions from taking place until the deal is finalized.
I see.
It's a way to secure the purchase.
Ah, so it's a way to mark your territory, especially in this high-stakes market.
Right.
And I'm guessing these GCB transactions are fetching some eye-watering prices?
You bet a whopping 14 of these transactions were valued at $20 million or above.
Wow.
For example, a GCB at 2 Clooney Road was sold for a staggering $48 million.
Okay.
That's over $2,600 per square foot.
Gosh.
Another GCB, this one on Astrid Hill,
Yeah?
went for $40 million, which translates to roughly $2,200 per square foot.
Those are some serious numbers. What else
Yeah.
is driving these sky-high prices?
Well, District 10 continues to be the undisputed king of the GCB market.
Right.
It's where you'll find some of the most prestigious addresses in Singapore,
Mhm.
like Nassim Road and Leedon Park.
Yeah, very fancy.
The exclusivity, the land size, and the prime location all contribute to the premium prices.
So it's not just about the house itself. It's about the whole package, the
Yeah.
neighborhood, the prestige, the history.
Right.
It's a piece of Singapore's elite heritage.
Precisely. And what's even more intriguing is that these figures only reflect the officially recorded or caveated transactions.
Okay.
There's a whole other world of high-value GCB deals that happen off-market.
Oh, really? So off-market, it's like a secret society of real estate.
Kind of.
Why would people choose to sell their GCBs this way?
There are a few reasons. For some, it's about maintaining privacy and discretion.
Mm-hmm.
For others, it's a way to target a specific type of buyer who values exclusivity.
Okay, so it's all about keeping things under wraps,
Right.
dealing with a select group of people who understand the value of these properties.
Exactly. And it makes it even harder to fully grasp the true scale of the GCB market.
Mm-hmm.
But even with what we can see, it's clear that GCBs are a highly coveted asset,
Yeah.
attracting both local and international ultra-high net worth individuals.
It sounds like a fascinating world with its own rules and dynamics, but before we dive deeper into that, let's shift gears and look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
What does this landed property boom mean for Singapore as a whole,
Right?
especially considering the concerns about affordability for everyday Singaporeans?
That's an important question. We're seeing two seemingly contrasting trends. This incredible demand for landed properties at the top end of the market, and simultaneously,
Mm-hmm.
concerns about affordability for the average Singaporean.
It's like two different realities existing side by side.
Exactly, and it underscores the complexities of Singapore's housing market.
Mhm.
This boom in the landed property sector brings up important questions about wealth disparity and housing accessibility.
Right.
It highlights that while some segments of the population are experiencing significant gains, others might be struggling to keep up.
So how does this impact the average person who's trying to enter the property market or even just find a decent place to live?
Well, it adds another layer to the ongoing conversation about housing policies and social equity in Singapore.
So it seems like a tricky balancing act for policymakers.
Yes.
They need to ensure a healthy and vibrant property market while also addressing the needs of all segments of society.
You're absolutely right. It's a complex issue with no easy answers,
Okay.
but it's a crucial conversation that needs to happen as Singapore navigates the challenges and opportunities presented by this dynamic market.
It sounds like a lot to unpack, but we'll get into that and more in part 2 of our deep dive.
We will.
We'll be right back after a short break.
Welcome back.
Okay, so we're back.
It's fascinating to see these contrasting forces at play in Singapore's real estate market.
It really is. On the one hand, we have this incredible demand for landed properties pushing prices higher and higher. And on the other, we have this, issue of affordability, which is a concern for a lot of Singaporeans.
Yeah, you've hit on a crucial point.
Yeah.
So let's zoom out a bit and look at the overall market performance for 2024.
Okay.
We mentioned that it's shaping up to be a stellar year, and the data certainly backs that up.
Okay, so let's dive into those numbers.
Okay, so in just the first 11 months, the transaction volume for landed properties has already exceeded the full year total for 2023 by a solid 14.3%.
Wow.
And the total value of these transactions has also surged by 10.5%. This tells us there's a lot of capital flowing into this segment of the market.
Yeah, that's a pretty clear indication of strong buyer confidence, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. But what's interesting is that this strong performance hasn't translated into runaway price growth.
Okay.
The Landed Property Price Index, which, as we mentioned earlier, tracks price changes over time, shows a more moderate growth of 1% in 2024 compared to 3.2% in 2023.
Oh, wow. So it seems like the market is finding a sort of equilibrium, steady growth instead of a sudden spike.
Exactly. This moderation is actually a positive sign.
Okay.
It suggests a more balanced market, one that's less prone to sudden fluctuations.
Right. A stable market is generally more appealing to both buyers and sellers. It creates a sense of predictability and reduces, the risk of sudden losses.
Now let's connect this back to the issue of affordability.
Okay.
While this slower price growth might seem like good news for those looking to enter the landed property market,
Uh-huh.
it's important to remember that these properties are still a significant investment.
Right. Even with moderate growth, we're talking about, high value assets here.
Exactly, and this is where the conversation about wealth disparity comes in.
Right.
The ability to invest in landed properties is largely limited to a segment of the population that has the financial means to do so.
So while this boom might be a positive indicator for the overall economy, it's not necessarily benefiting everyone equally.
That's a nuanced observation, and it's one that policymakers need to consider.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge is to create policies that support a healthy property market, while also addressing concerns about affordability and ensuring that a wider range of people can participate in the market.
It sounds like a complex issue with no easy solutions.
You're right, but it's a vital conversation to have as Singapore's real estate landscape continues to evolve.
So where do you see the landed property market heading in 2025? Will this momentum continue?
Well, based on the data and the trends we've discussed, the outlook for 2025 appears optimistic.
Oh, tell me more.
The sources indicate that we can expect continued steady demand from both private homeowners looking to upgrade
Uh-huh.
and those ultra-high net worth individuals seeking those exclusive properties.
And what about prices? Will they continue to rise at a moderate pace?
Well, it's likely.
Okay.
The limited supply of landed homes, combined with ongoing demand, could create upward pressure on prices, especially in those highly sought-after districts we discussed earlier.
So what you're saying is that if I were considering investing in Singapore's landed property market, now might be a good time to jump in?
It's certainly a market to watch,
Okay.
but remember, any investment decision should be made carefully
Right.
and after thorough research and consultation with financial advisors.
Always sound advice now. Let's circle back to the ultra-luxury segment. What's the forecast for the good class bungalow market?
The GCB segment is likely to maintain its momentum,
Mm-hmm.
fueled by that desire for exclusivity
Right.
and the perception of GCVs as a secure investment.
It's almost like owning a piece of history, a tangible asset that represents a certain level of success and prestige.
Precisely, District 10 will likely remain the epicenter of GCB activity.
Hmm.
But we might also see buyers exploring other GCB enclaves that offer a balance of prestige and potentially more attractive price points.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like there's a lot to consider even within the GCB market itself.
There is, and it's a market that operates in a very unique way, with many deals happening off-market, adding another layer of intrigue to this exclusive world.
Right? Off-market deals, secret transactions. It's fascinating how this segment functions. It really is a world of its own. But you know what else is fascinating?
What's that?
The private homeowner factor.
Yeah.
We talked about how they're driving a lot of the demand in the landed property market.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on why so many private homeowners are making the move to landed properties?
Well, I think it reflects a combination of factors. First, there's the aspirational aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Landed properties, especially in a land-scarce country like Singapore, represent a certain level of achievement.
Okay.
They offer space privacy and a sense of exclusivity that many homeowners aspire to.
So it's like reaching the top rung of the property ladder.
Exactly. And then there's the investment angle.
Mm-hmm.
As we discussed earlier, landed properties are seen as a safe and stable investment in Singapore's competitive real estate market.
Right.
Homeowners who have seen their non-landed properties appreciate in value are using that equity to upgrade to their dream homes and secure their financial future.
It's a smart move for those who can afford it. They get to enjoy a luxurious lifestyle and potentially benefit from further price appreciation.
And let's not forget the lifestyle factors.
Right.
Many private homeowners are families who are looking for more space as their families grow.
Yeah.
Landed properties offer that extra space for kids to play, for entertaining, and for creating a comfortable and private living environment.
It's about more than just the bricks and mortar. It's about creating a home that reflects their lifestyle and aspirations.
You're spot on. And in a densely populated city like Singapore, the appeal of having your own private garden, a swimming pool, or just more space to breathe is undeniable.
So it's a combination of aspiration, investment, and lifestyle that's driving this trend. It's fascinating to see how these factors interplay in shaping the market.
It really is. And it's a trend that will likely continue as Singapore's affluent population grows and the demand for landed properties remains strong.
Now, you mentioned that the outlook for 2025 is optimistic,
Mm-hmm.
but what are the potential risks or challenges that could impact the market?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
While the fundamentals of the market appear strong,
Yeah.
there are always external factors that can influence real estate trends.
Like what?
Well, global economic conditions can play a role.
Okay.
Interest rate hikes, for example, could impact affordability
Right.
and potentially slow down demand.
Right. Higher interest rates mean higher mortgage payments, which could make it more difficult for buyers to enter the market.
Exactly. And then there's the government's cooling measures.
Mm-hmm.
The government has implemented various measures over the years
Mm-hmm.
to moderate price growth and ensure a sustainable property market. Any new or adjusted cooling measures could also impact demand and prices.
So even though the market seems to be on solid ground, there are external factors that could throw a wrench in the works.
Precisely. It's important to stay informed and to be aware of these potential risks.
It sounds like there's a lot to keep an eye on, but before we get too bogged down in the potential risks,
Yeah.
let's wrap up this part of our deep dive with a recap of the key takeaways. We've covered a lot of ground, from overall market performance and price trends
Yeah.
to the factors driving demand and the outlook for 2025.
We've also explored the fascinating dynamics of the good class bungalow market and the motivations behind the private homeowner trend.
Right, but there's one more piece of the puzzle that we need to address.
Okay.
The implications of this landed property boom for Singapore as a whole. We touched upon the issue of affordability earlier, but what are the broader social and economic impacts of this trend? That's what we'll delve into in the final part of our deep dive. Stay tuned. All right, so welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into Singapore's landed property market.
Yes.
We've explored the numbers, the trends, the motivations behind this surge, but now it's time to really tackle the bigger picture.
Yeah, you're right.
We've talked about affordability concerns, but let's broaden the lens
Okay.
and examine the wider social and economic implications of this landed property boom.
Okay.
So what are we looking at here? What are the potential ripple effects of this trend?
Well, I think for starters, the increasing concentration of wealth in the landed property sector could exacerbate existing inequalities.
So you mean like the gap between those who can afford these properties
Exactly.
and those who can't?
Precisely as landed property prices continue to rise, it creates a barrier to entry
Mm-hmm.
for a significant portion of the population, and this could lead to a sense of exclusion and potentially fuel social tensions.
So it's not just about housing.
No.
It's about access to a certain lifestyle, a certain level of prosperity that's becoming increasingly out of reach for many.
Yeah, that's a great point. And this sense of exclusion can have broader societal implications.
Okay.
It can impact social mobility as younger generations find it harder to climb the property ladder and accumulate wealth.
Right. It's almost like a self-perpetuating cycle. Those who already own landed properties
Mm-hmm.
benefit from price appreciation, while those who don't are increasingly priced out of the market.
Exactly. And this is where the role of government policies becomes really crucial.
Right.
How can policymakers address these affordability concerns and create a more inclusive housing market? That's a question that's at the forefront of many discussions.
Right. It sounds like a really complex challenge.
Right.
What are some potential solutions or strategies?
Well, one approach is to increase the supply of affordable housing options. This could involve building more public housing units, offering subsidies or grants for first-time home buyers, or exploring innovative housing models that cater to different income levels.
Okay, so it's about creating more pathways for people to enter the property market regardless of their income level.
Exactly.
Right.
Another strategy is to implement measures that curb speculative buying,
Uh-huh.
and ensure that the market is driven by genuine housing needs rather than investment speculation.
That makes sense. If speculation is driving up prices, it makes it even harder for people who actually need homes to afford them.
Precisely. And there are also broader economic considerations to think about.
Okay.
The concentration of wealth in the landed property sector could potentially impact consumption patterns and overall economic growth.
How so?
Well, if a large portion of household income is tied up in housing costs,
Right.
it can limit spending in other areas of the economy. This can have a ripple effect on businesses' employment and overall economic activity.
So it's not just a housing issue.
Right.
It's an economic issue as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. The landed property market is intricately linked to the broader economy, and it's important to understand these connections.
hmm It sounds like there's a lot to consider, a lot of potential challenges and opportunities that need to be carefully managed.
You're absolutely right. It's a complex and dynamic situation that requires thoughtful analysis and proactive policies.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this information.
A little bit.
But in a good way, of course,
Yeah.
It's been a fascinating deep dive into a market that's both exciting and challenging.
What stands out to you the most from all of this?
I think what struck me most is the tension between the desire for exclusivity and the need for inclusivity.
Yeah.
On one hand, we have this incredible demand for landed properties, driven by aspirations, investment potential, and lifestyle preferences.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, we have this pressing need to ensure that housing is accessible and affordable for all segments of society.
It really highlights the delicate balancing act that policymakers face. Yeah. It makes me wonder about the future, with limited land supply and this just insatiable demand. How will Singapore navigate these competing forces? What will the landed property market look like in 5, 10, or even 20 years?
That's the million-dollar question, and I think it's one that we'll all be watching very closely as Singapore continues to adapt and evolve, to the changing dynamics of its housing market and to society as a whole.
Well, I think we've given you, our listener, plenty to think about today. We've explored the intricacies of Singapore's landed property market, from the overall boom to the ultra-luxury world of good class bungalows. And we delved into the social and economic implications of this fascinating trend.
It's been really...
We encourage you to continue exploring these topics, to do your own research, and to form your own opinions, after all. That's what the deep dive is all about.
Exactly, empowering you with knowledge and insights.
Remember, this is just a starting point.
It is.
There's always more to learn, more to discover, and more to discuss. So until next time, keep diving deep, keep asking questions, and keep exploring the world around you.
Great advice.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
See you next time.